Okay, good afternoon. It is Friday, February 16th. It's 2:32 p.m. and we just had a bombshell. The assistant uh, United States attorney came out and gave out an indictment against 13 Russians for interfering with the election, and apparently this clears the Trump campaign from colluding with them in that effort. Um, so, yes, there was interference, but no, the Trump campaign did not collude in that effort. So, hopefully, this will end the media bombardment for the last year and a half on Trump collusion, get them off of it and focusing on Russia interference instead of American interference. So apparently, no one in America was interfering. They were stupid, unwittingly helping. People went to rallies, people um, reposted tweets or reposted Facebook conversations, but nobody went through this elaborate scheme that, like the Russians did, to impact our elections, which is just horrifying. And the markets, when that news announcement came out, tanked. They tanked. And we're going to see this in just a second, but now they're bouncing back a little bit. But the bonds rallied. People looking to purchase bonds, that drives the yield down. And then the markets on the downside, they started tanking. They hadn't been rallied up. In fact, this was supposed to be the largest single week gain in history for the ES until this indictment news came out. Nothing like the word indictment to send the markets to spark a sell-off, right? It just flashed red all the way across the board. Here was the news announcement, and it just plummeted. So we bounced back a little bit, but we're sort of firming up below zero. And I would say the bloom is off the rose. I think the markets are going to try to figure this out. But I think it's good news for Americans. We can stop killing each other over this and start coming together and cast our aspersions on the Russians. The people that were part of that conspiracy to um, befuddle our electoral system, and apparently it wasn't hard for them to do it. That's the sad part. I hope people start recognizing that. Here is the high-low 2 and the new version of it, where you don't have to take these counter trend trades just because the market turns around. You're in a downtrend. You don't want to take that little counter trend trade. I filtered that out so you don't have to get caught trying to get your points on that. You wouldn't have gotten it. You would have gotten a stop out. So I think this is going to be a big help. I'm going to be working on getting that added to the Blackbird strategy and clear the documentation and get that out to you. But I'm liking this new look. For one thing, the white dots. What are the white dots? The white dots are on the chart template. This is not part of the BloodHound template that is black boxed. So you can control the white dots on your chart template, and it is SI Chameleon. And so whatever you use for your bar size, so I have a 50 tick bar size here. I would use a 50 or 51 tick level in my SI Chameleon on a look back so that you can the theory of this, when I started, really examining my chart, is where can I get a reasonable approximation of where the market is going to turn around? Where should it turn around? Where's the halfway point? Where's my half back for the move? And see, it worked here. It overshot it here a little bit, but I would have used it as a stop filter for one. So I would have been stopped out here. But if I had my, if you notice, your market came right back to test that high. Here's the yesterday high. And so once it crosses back your filters, I've added a new trigger 4 also. So once it crossed back that filter, you would get triggered back in anyway. So you get a stop out, but you're going to get triggered back in, and the stop out is a minimal. Well, depending upon which trigger you entered on, but compared to your reward, and your reward again is up here on this trajectory. See how it always comes back to that trajectory, and you want to little bit of risk, but maximum reward. So that's the theory, and use this as just an eyeball. And you don't even need it on your, if you don't like it, don't want it on your chart, just right click and delete it, remove it. But I just have it as an eyeball to show me approximately where that halfback is, and where I can expect the market to continue in the direction of that trend. And if it does overshoot it, if it gets over exuberant and overshoots it, like right here, and I want to get back in the trend, I've got a very short stop out period, but a very long reward. It's a great entry place, actually. In fact, I did that today, earlier today in crude. Market rallied up right to my trigger line, just like that on a down move, and I got in right there and rode it all the way back down. That was really cool. So theory and practice, it worked. Not all trades work all the time, of course. You are going to get stop outs. That's just, part of trading. So here we are, coming back down in the markets, but hopefully our markets will stabilize now. Thank God they came out, and we'll have a weekend of analysis to review that, and hopefully the nation can come back together. That never happened in this election. Because of the media, which is all their fault. I wish that they would examine their role in this, which is 100% they're at fault for stirring all this up without having the information. Um, they were so wrong in doing that, and dividing the country against itself. You can't be a country. You can't have a house against itself. It will not stand. A house divided will fall apart. So what I was trying to say is, after an election, you have one political party and the other political party, but after the election, everybody's supposed to come together and support the presidency and support the United States and our democracy and everything that we were founded on, and rally the flag and just continue on. It didn't happen this time, and it's the first time in my advanced age that it's never happened before in my lifetime. So and that's the media's fault. I'm blaming them. I'm calling you out. So hopefully they'll get off of it. They'll recognize that the Trump campaign did not collude. It, you know if they had colluded, they would have been indicted, or they would have said something like, our investigation's continuing. In fact, it said the opposite. It said there was no American was involved in that. So get off of it, media. Let's move on and go somewhere else and get this market back working. Look at this. We have a huge growth. We have a tax package that will spur economic growth. And we have a lot of opportunities where we lead the globe. The entire world, is dependent upon our markets. So just like that one little word, indictment, and it sent the market down, they don't realize the impact that this has. So they need to get some responsibility, do some self-inflection, reflection of their own role, their complicitness in this, and get off of it and move on, and let's bring the country back together. Yay. This is Julie. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you so much. And that's the end of my soapbox.